fighter. He would push forward, push forward, push forward, and no matter what he did, he would just keep going forward. Very similar to the style that Chief developed. So it was a weight back and then that real fast drive in. The other one is Raymond Dekker, who was a Dutch fighter. He was a much tighter guard, sat a bit more like a boxer, and really used the power in his hands and very low dropping kicks. He could also kick very high, but his power was about dropping. So we're going to try and look at those two and then the variations of them, which are the Dracula and stuff. But we're going to start off with a little bit of a warm-up and get ourselves going. So if you want to give yourself some space, Matt's going to, or Chloe, whoever's going to every now and then talk and give you some corrections, because I can't see everyone easily on my screen, and I'm not sure of everyone's name, so they might give you some corrections as we get going. We're also very lucky to have Q here tonight too, he will correct everything that I get mixed up. And when my language skills are very bad and I try and use a Thai term, he can laugh and tell Matt that he doesn't know what I'm talking about. So that would be great. All right, guys, put your feet together, please. Hands cupped. And out. Just go through a normal warm-up. Hands on hips, head over one side. Good, just stretch a little bit, and the other side, stretch a little bit. Very nice. Shoulders in a big circle. And the other way. Good, one arm in a big circle. And the other arm in a big circle. Good, and just very easy rotations. Let your knees move, your feet move. Excellent. Okay, I'm just going to put my hands up in a nice high position. I'm just going to lift my knee up to my elbow on both sides. So just like a check, but I'm just going to be popping it. So it's more just like just a warm-up drill. Don't think too much about specific technique. Good. When I'm touching my arm, I'm touching into my bicep and forearm. So inside my elbow, not to the outside. And my legs lifting out to the side of my body. So it's opening my hip up as I lift. Just a few more. Very good, and relax. Okay, so the first one we're going to go through today is our long guard. And like I said, this one was pretty much made famous by Diesel Noy. Very tall fighter, very strong. He's still alive. Actually, we did a seminar with him a couple of years ago, but you know, in the later years of his life now. So one of the first things we need to think about with our long guard is that my stance, even though my hands are going to be very long, my stance is going to be short, and most of my weight's going to be on the back, and it's going to be that real lifting and popping, and my hands are going to be pulsating. So you can do a pulsation where they sort of go in, or you can do a pulsation where they go out. These would always tend to be like this, so a bit like pouring. And the concept was that he would trap the hands or put weight in on the hands. So you get this pouring action, and then you can move off or trap. So we're going to start off with just that action. I want most of you on your back foot, front foot floating. So you're just sort of pulsing, and you pulse forward and back. So not up and down, out, out, sort of that sort of action. Good, and your hand, your feet don't need to match timing. You can go quicker and slower. Okay, let's keep it going a little bit longer. Good, hands nice and long. Very nice, okay. Just watching me for just a moment. In this stance, your head isn't too tight. So my chin's not real super tight. It's up and my chest is pretty open. So it's pretty high position. My shoulder would want to float up near my jaw, but it's not a super tight position. Nice and loose, body's nice and long. So the idea on this one is you're playing at range. So as the person moves in, I can trap them or I can step into them. So it's at a distance where you're not feeling like your head's going to get hit easily. They're going to have to break that distance. So you've got time to move. So heads up a little bit more, chest up a bit more. Okay, so now you're going to be from this high position, and I'm going to need you to step back and then come back into that floating foot, step back. So defensive position. So up, pop back. Up, pop back. Okay, keep it going. A few more times in your own time. Very good, excellent. Okay, so this stance would normally be used by a much taller person. So if I was fighting and my height was generally average to lower, this isn't generally such a good position for you to be in. It's very hard to reach on top of the other person's hands if you're shorter than them. So generally for a tall person. The other thing is it's mainly used for a knee fighter. So a Muay Thai fighter. So from here, the idea is that I would stop their hands or trap their hands and set up for my knees, and also set up where I can block in with this lead hand, and also so I can catch. So we're going to start off with just doing our knee. So I'm going to come from my long guard position. From here, I'm going to step forward on that left leg. So I'm going to land forward, and then my right leg, I'm just going to come up and knee. Don't worry about your hands too much at the moment. I just want you to get used to this step. So hands are high, step with the left, drive with the right. Okay, let's try again. Excellent. Couple more. Very good. Okay, just watch me just for a sec. With my knee, I'm going to come so that when I place my foot, my knee can come from outside my hip line and straight up into the target. I don't want to bring my foot inwards towards this foot because it will stop my hip. It locks my hip action up. I want my knee to come up from a slight angle. So it's going to spear in by lifting on that angle. So your foot should stay outside your hip line the whole way up and in. Okay, so try it again in your own time. Place your foot a little bit out, reach up and in. You need to turn your lead leg slightly outwards to make this knee really drive up. Very nice. Okay, Chloe, can you switch it back to gallery views just so I can see everyone a little bit easier again?
That's it.
Or a de-spotlight me, cancel my spotlight. Cool. And not bad. Can't quite see everyone, but that's all right. Okay, so what I want you to do this time is that the person's going to throw a right hook around. We're going to jam out that left arm. So our elbow is going to be out and our arm's going to be blocking out. It's like a high block, if you like. At the same time, I'm going to do that block, so I come from my normal guard. I'm going to block, I'm going to reach, so I'm cross-guarding across the face and drive my knee in. So I can either pull on the face or I could pull on their opposing arm. So from our long guard, block, knee. Okay, let's do it. Beautiful. Okay, guys, really feel that pulsating action. So get those hands pulsating, get that foot pulsating, boom, and then drive up. Okay, keep it going. Boom. Very nice. Okay, this one's going to be a little bit different. This time, from our long guard, I'm going to imagine the person stepped in. I've blocked, but against their collarbone with my forearm. So from my long guard, I'm just going to shoot my weight forward in this way. Now I'm going to cut into their head. So on this one, as I step, I'm going to tuck my head, pop, to make sure that I don't get hooked or elbowed in. So here, and then I'm going to knee up, but I'm going to pull their head at the same time. So drive with my forearm, grab on, pop, and knee up. Okay, let's do that one a few times. Pulsate those arms. Pop.
Matt, you're sticking your head down a little bit. You're sticking your chin down on that particular one. Looks
like, yeah. So I've gone from my high position. Sorry, Matt, I'll do it this way. Go from my high position. As soon as I reach or as soon as I block, my head's going to go very tight underneath my arm. Pop and in and up. If I didn't control both arms, then I wouldn't go quite so low. So if I felt like this arm could still uppercut, then I'd be sort of mid. If I got in deep, so I blocked both arms, boom, then I'm in full control, so I can drop my head. Then I can lift my head as well now. Okay, so pulsate, drop your head on the reach, butt and knee up. Okay, let's do it, a couple more. Okay, very good. And stop there. So last time, just go through it again. This stance is really good for a taller person that really likes using their knees, their elbows. Doesn't mean they won't punch and kick, but it's very good for that person that wants to get that range. More defensive here, and then they'll push in. Once you land that first shot, then you would just keep pushing. So you would generally drive, elbow in, drive, push, kick, drive. So everything you need. So from here, if you're using your lead kicks, using that, but you're mainly looking to trap the hands, either by dropping them down, pushing them in, or getting inside or outside. So it's all about using this long guard to trap hands. Once you trap them, that's when you're going to really start to use that striking in following it. So we're going to go for 30 more seconds, and I want you to try and envisage that you're trapping hands, that you're parrying off, that you're reaching over, that you're coming on the inside, that you're pushing down. But think about trapping, then think about driving forward, multiple knees, that sort of thing. Okay, 30 seconds, let's go. Okay, push, push. Nice, good trapping. That's it, that's it, that's it. Good, good. Good, good. Push forward, knees, step off, push forward again. Good, and stop. Excellent. So someone like Dieselnoy, who's very tall, used that. Once he got in, he'd keep that weight on them. So he'd get his body almost over the top of them so that they were getting crushed or tired or worn down. And he would just keep going, knee, 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 until the fight got broken or until the person stopped, you know? So really it's that relentless push, push, push. Okay, the next guard we're going to look at is the Dracula guard. And this is just a variation of the long guard. So normally the Dracula guard is because you want to stand your ground when the person's barraging in. With this one, I'm going to place my right hand is going to go across into my opposite shoulder. If I had a glove on, it would pretty much sit right behind because I want to protect my neck from getting clenched as well. My shoulder would roll and I put my nose more or less down the center of my elbow and I keep my shoulders facing square. My other hand is going to come out like a jamming off. So I don't want to be this position here where I've turned off. I've got to be pointing straight down the center. Okay, so the way we're going to practice this one is I'm going to say, right hand, you're going to roll it in and back. Right hand, roll it in and back. Ready? 1, 2, just your right hand at the moment. 3, 4, 5. Beautiful. Okay, really got to think about fortification on this one. So I don't want to have my neck extended. I've really got to think about rolling my shoulders up, rolling this in, and I lock my body down. So I need to think about that bit of like grit, you know, get myself really strong, really fortified. Okay, we're going to do it again. We're just going to use our right arm again, and each time I count, you're going to drop in. I want you to think strong, and I want you to turtle your shoulders. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beautiful. Okay, now we're going to use that left hand as well, and I'm going to drive. I'd be driving for their shoulder or their neck. So you're either going to push under their neck with your glove, or you're going to push straight into their shoulder and chest. Okay, ready? Left hand and right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Very good. So a couple of the faults that we can have in this one. If my arm's up over my neck and my chin's exposed, it's just no good. So I'm going to get uppercut or elbow or something easily going to hit. So I need to make sure that I'm following as much as I can my chin line and that my chin's tucked. And then I can adjust my elbow depending on where they're striking. I can defend a little bit. But I don't want to be all loose. I don't want to be here, nice and tight, head tucked in, up and down to defend myself as I'm going. Okay, let's try it again. So in your own time, you're going to stand there, make sure you feel guarded. Imagine someone's tapping away, trying to get into your head. So move your arms a little bit and think about how you defend from that position. Okay, let's go. Good, a little bit of movement. Good, good. Hey Chloe, just on that little sidebar, can you press where it's got like 9 little squares on it?
9 little squares.
Well, it might be just on my screen. Hang on.
Only on your screen, Matt. It's only on your screen.
All right, sorry guys. Give me a sec. Okay, I've got it now. Beautiful. Sorry about that. Okay. So from this this short stance again, my weight would definitely transfer forward as I was locking up. So I can't be weight back and doing this, or I'm just going to get bowled over, particularly if the person's punching me. So I've gone from my long guard, I've gone to my Dracula guard, my weight's definitely forward. My weight's definitely forward. Okay, so let's try it again. Long guard, pulse, Dracula guard, lean forward. Okay, do that 5 times please. Pulse, forward. Beautiful. Very nice, Jackie. Good stand. Nice work. Good, good, good. Awesome. Okay, let's stop there. So the problem with the Dracula guard, it's very hard to punch quickly from there. If I don't hit, I can't punch. So this is for a good puncher. A good puncher is going to have a different guard. This is again for a good kneer or a good kicker. So if I've gone from this guard here, then it allows me to very easily come up for my knee. So I've gone from my Dracula guard, my counter is generally going to be a knee, or if I've managed to push the person, then it might be a round kick or something like that. So if I've got in and I've pushed, boom, then I might open up for my kick. If I've stayed in tight, then it's going to be my knee. Okay, so now follow up with a kick or a knee. All right, in your own time, guys. Nice. Good. Remember, you've got to push forward a little bit in the Dracula guard. Don't be defensive. You've got to be offensive. Push. Good, good, good. Okay, and stop. So the way you need to practice the Dracula guard with a partner is that they need to be punching, so you're getting used to feeling confident staying in that position. If you don't feel confident standing in a Dracula guard, it's not a guard for you. So it's one of those sort of shots, like a boxer that will roll and ride with the punches. That's the same sort of idea for the Dracula guard. You're pushing the person off, you're confident in that range, and then it opens you up for the knee or the kick. Okay, so now we're going to go from long guard. I'm going to think in, opening up, think closing into your Dracula guard, think of stepping off, think of throwing punches, back to your long guard, think of push kicks, back to your long guard, think of your low kicks. So working long guard, working Dracula guard. Shadow work. 2 minutes. Let's go. Nice. Very good. If you go to Dracula guard, guys, hold it for a count of 3. 1, 2, 3, then break out of it. That's better. Good, Di. Good work. Nice, Gary. Open your palms up a little bit on that long guard. That's it. Good, good, good. Yes, nice work, guys. Just a minute longer. Keep stepping off. Admin, that's really nice. A nice, good rhythm on your feet there. I'm not sure who admin is, but I'm just going by the name on your screen.
Matt, I've got a question for you once you're finished.
Yes, and stop there, guys.
When you get up, have you got the glove? Is the glove facing this way or inwards, or?
Yes,
you got a glove on?
Face out, Matt. Yep, but it doesn't really matter too much, but this is a more comfortable position, so to face this way. Also, when I was talking about the hands being open, you'll notice that a Thai fighter that likes working a long guard, if we're getting them ready in the back room, we've got to try and open their gloves. If they're new gloves, we open them as much as they can, because the fighter will like to try and use their hands in a very palm opened way, and that allows them to catch a lot more. Even to the point where we don't get away with it very often, but sometimes they'll want us to cut the thumb so the thumb's loose from the glove. That just makes it a bit dangerous for their opponent, so we don't try not to do it in Australia very often. And in Thailand, it gets caught up a lot now too. So they're trying to open that palm up. So when you're practicing long guard, think more palms leading, not so much like your fist leading. It's like this sort of action. The other thing that's good off a long guard, if you drive off that rear leg, is a quick elbow. So I've got my long guard, I touch their hand, push it down and drive over. Or touch their hand if they're further away and punch straight over the top. Trap both hands, pop, pop. That's where we get those shots coming out. So I'm going to ask you to go 30 seconds more shadow sparring, and I want you to think, how would you trap their hands and then punch from it? Okay, let's go for it. Long guard, trap the hands, and strike off.
Yeah.
Very good. Sorry guys, my camera to TV angle is a bit funny here, so I've got to sort of squat when I watch you. That's why I look a bit strange. Nice work. Okay, and stop. So the only thing I'd pick up there on those elbows was some of you are going here. Whoop, up. It's got to be like this. 1, 2. There's no wind up. If it's going to be this one, as I trap their hand, my arm's going to come straight from their glove. If you're practicing this with your partner, you put your hand on their glove and that's your pivot point. You rotate off that glove. You bring your body into their glove and rotate off. Okay, so just another 20 seconds. Let's see those elbows a little smoother. No wind up. Oh, stand, beautiful. That's it, Jimmy. Very nice. Nearly took the camera out, mate. And relax. Tim, nice elbow there. That was much more relaxed. Tim, no wind up on that one. Beautiful. Okay, so what was the first guard called? Anyone? Oh, you can't tell me because you're all on microphone mute.
Long guard.
Long guard. What was the second one called, James?
Dracula guard.
Good. Do you know why, James?
Not particularly.
So the old cartoons and stuff of Dracula used to have a cape, and he used to always pull his cape across his face like this.
Yeah.
So that's where the Dracula guard comes from. It's like you got wings, and you're covering your face behind your wings, like a bat when a bat closes its wings up.
That'll make sense.
Cool. So hopefully that'll help you remember the name now. All right. Have a sip of water, guys, if you need one. You need a quick sip.
I've got to drink.
And just while you're having a drink of water, if you want to look at a fighter that uses this a lot, he doesn't fight anymore. He's a good trainer. P. Diang. He uses this a lot, and he also trains a lot of people in the Dracula guard. So he's one to look for. Before, the chief talked about Sylvie von Douglas. Sylvie is an American in Thailand. She's done a lot of work. She's actually done some training videos with this guy that are good for you to watch as well. We're going to move on to our next guard. Now we're moving into more the Western style of Thai, and this was sort of really pushed by fighters like Raymond Decker, but it's also used a lot by hard pushing fighters or Muay mat fighters, guys that are willing to take a few shots to get a couple shots back. So Raymond Decker is a famous one. A guy that's around a lot now is Rod Peng. He fights like this, and even Bukaw was much more this style fighter with a tighter guard. So they're not out here, they're more in here. And part of the reason for that is they're going to use their hands to load and they're going to use their bodies to load. So a long fighter is more about pace, speed, and that drive. This style that we're looking at now is more about power development from the legs and the body. So we're going to do a warm-up exercise to get us used to a little bit of action. I'm going to show you, I'll move away from the mic for a sec. I'm going to take my left hand, I'm going to touch my right toe, but as I do it, I'm going to turn my body around. So I'm going to go from here and touch. Come back up. I'm going to take my right hand and turn and touch my left. Just watch for a second when I touch my left to my right. Both knees are going to go out slightly. My left leg's going to turn a lot, my right knee's going to turn a little bit, and I touch on. When I go out to my right, to my left foot, my left foot's not going to rotate at all. My knee's just going to drop and dip down. So both knees turn slightly on this one only my right knee turns. Very good. Okay, and stop and watch for a sec. It's really nice. Just watch my legs. I don't want to go so much to my back. So it's all, as much as I can, my legs dropping down and not me leaning over and trying to touch my toe. Okay, try it a few more times. Oh, admin, that's really good. Good, Danielle, just keep bending those knees. Jackie, excellent. Gabby, really good. Nice, Gary, a bit more through the knee. Good, Di. And stop. Okay, what does this represent? If I was teaching this in boxing, this is what I'd be teaching. A slipping type move or a roll. And in this slip, I'm not just leaning, I'm slipping by throwing the shoulder forward I want to slip on. This brings me around and powers up for my next shots to come from my leg and my power. So not only have I slipped, I've rotated my body. So when I do this action, it's over exaggerating that move, but it's getting used to how I need to drop. Because doing this won't do anything. See how my legs haven't engaged? So I need to get used to dropping to get that. So now when I go for my slip, I'm dropping. Same when I slip off the other side, I'm slipping and both legs are rolling out to my rear side, and then I can come back with whatever power shots I want. So this is a really, really good skill. One we've been working a lot with Kane to help build up his quadriceps and get his body really powering up. So across to one side, across the other side, and the more you just get used to bouncing with it, the better your flow will get, and then it'll really build up those legs. That's beautiful. Okay, and stop. So now you're going to shorten it up. You're just going to rotate, so elbow towards your knee. So this hand, my right hand towards my left knee, and then I'm just going to do a hook punch. We're going to reset. We're going to take my left elbow to my right knee, and then we're going to do a right hook punch. So out, hook, out, hook, out, hook. Okay, keep going with it. You must bend your legs. Do not just twist. You must bend your legs. Good. Sit that bum down. Excellent, excellent. Keep going. Couple more, couple more. Very good. And stop. So for these couple of stances we're doing, this close guard type stuff, I'm just going to move forward a little bit and just put my camera up. This close guard type things, it's all about power development through dropping of the weight. With a longer guard position, it's about body action. So I open my chest and rotate for my kicks. When I'm driving my punches, I'm using my reach and get my shoulder in. When you're close in, when it's close range stuff, you need to get that power from your legs. The chief has always said to us that we punch with our legs and we kick with our arms. And when we're doing this close style, this Muay mat, this aggressive closed guard, you need to be using your legs. And if you haven't got your legs bent, if you're not sitting down, it will not work. So I cannot emphasize that enough. You must be sitting down into it. And that doesn't mean locking yourself up. It just means that you're sitting down. So if I'm here and I'm just moving around, it means that as I punch, my body's going to drop and sit. Pop, pop. It doesn't mean that I'm doing this. Yeah? If I'm moving and I slip, then I get that power by dropping my weight. But if I'm doing a short kick, because I've just grabbed someone and pushed them off, then it's about dropping my weight down. It's not about an opened up, nice long kick. This one is a short, trying to get all my body weight into it by dropping my weight down as I kick. Does that make sense to everyone a little bit? Cool. So what I want you to try now is just shadow spar, very easy. But every time you punch, I want you to feel down, 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 down. If you throw a low kick, I want you to think heavy on that leg that's on the ground and put your weight into it as you go. If you're going to do a knee, you still load on that leg. Like you've really got to lock yourself in. Okay, move around a little bit, drop those punches. Oh, whoever's on the hand screen, you two guys, looking really, really good. Very nice. Glenn, beautiful. Harato, Kokona, looking great. Give me some more, guys. Don't stop. Oh, that's it. Awesome. Jen, very nice leg work. Good rotation. Beautiful. Matt, beautiful. Q, good power. Diane's frozen halfway through a kick. You must be getting good balance. James, very nice. Good explosion. Jimmy, good. Come on, Matt. Show me something. What do you got there? Janine, looking good. I don't know if Janine's there. I think it's not. Okay, let's stop. Nice work. Good, good, good. It's very hard with it not being able to interact. So if you'd like to unmute for a sec, I'd love a little bit of feedback on how you felt with dropping and really concentrating on that power. So if anyone would like to unmute.
Yep, it's perfect.
Cool.
Stronger. That's how it should be, yeah. Stronger. Balanced.
Nice. James, do you want to say something?
Yeah, the punches felt a lot stronger, a little bit less awkward, like they were coming from, say, the shoulder and more coming through the core.
Beautiful. Anyone else?
Matt, for the distance between your stances, are you shoulder or a little bit narrower than shoulder when you do it yourself?
Very good.
You're sinking down?
Yeah, yeah. So this is one of the main differences between a long stance, where my weight is back and my feet are short. Sorry, I'll just change my camera angle a little bit, just to try and let you see. So on a long stance, on a long guard, my stance is short and pretty narrow. Just enough to be able to check, enough to be able to move, enough to be able to step. In a tight guard, I'm much more down. So it's longer. And in this one, where we're going to put our hands in a sec, my weight's much more even. So if I'm thinking about that power driving, it's a much more seated position to help me get there. This is the downfall of this stance. Or the downfall of this type of punching or this type of striking. So everything's got a positive and a negative spin to it. You've got to find when the right time is to use it or what's right for your body or your fight style. So the problem with being in a longer stance where my weight's even is that it takes just that fraction longer to check, and also my knee's not as likely to be in the right direction. So I've got my foot now slightly angled in towards the person's face. This is not good if the person's a leg kicker, because they're going to subconsciously pick this up and kick it all day. If the person's going to kick my legs, I need to have my knees straight or even slightly turned out. Now subconsciously, they're not even going to try and kick this leg because they know it's a very short action for me to catch their shin, their ankle on my shin. So I've got to be able to move from this position to my striking position to drop down and then be able to come back when I need to be defensive. So all these stances are transitional stances. So Matt, the answer is, yes, I'm wider on this one, so I can move my hips and drop. So shoulder width to a little bit wider. I'm longer than I normally would be. Okay, we're going to look at the arms now. The arms are going to be like this. Forearms are razor blades. Forearms are pointing straight ahead. My thumbs are on my eyebrow. My elbows are forward. I'm exposed here at the moment, but that's because I'm using that reach to be able to out, and I want to be able to catch and scoop, because we're not at boxing range. We're still at kicking range. This is just where I'm going to be though. My hands are high. I'm leading with my forearms all the time. The gap is small, hard for them to uppercut. And on this one, my chin is much tighter than before. So when I was in a long guard, my chin's quite extended. You know, not extended, but my neck's extended. Chin's still always tucked. In this one, I've actually dropped in a little bit more because I need to be that tighter. Forearms are almost the same length forward. There's not really one in front, one behind. They still float, they're not locked, but much tighter than before. Beautiful. Excellent. Okay, stop. Elbows need to be in together as much as possible on this one. I know it's not always easy for all our body shapes. You go wherever's comfortable, but on this one, as much as you can put it forward and keep your body back, the better. Keep moving. I want you to start slowly throwing punches. Kicks, knees, elbows. Everything should still be able to flow from this position.
Matt,
Good, and stop.
a question for you.
Yes.
Matt, with lots of questions. Your shoulders relaxed or tight?
Very relaxed. So my arms are up high, but there's no tension in my arms. So they're just sitting.
Yeah.
Part of the
I know myself, when you sit in it with your arms like that, sometimes you can tense up a little bit.
Yeah, I know. And it just takes a while to get used to where to sit your spine. So if I'm forward like this, it's going to make this uncomfortable. My arms are heavy. If I'm sort of getting my shoulders in the right position, then my arms can sort of sit. I pinch like I'm pinching a grape in my armpit, and that sort of helps hold them up.
Try not to
Good.
far forward then as well.
Yes, it's not right out here. So the other thing with having my forearms right out like this is that it gives a false sense of closeness to the person. If my arms are tucked in, they feel like they can get in a lot closer for body rips, to get up a knee, to even get in a round kick. When my arms are out, it can change that distance perception to them. So they see it as much harder to get around because my weapons are right there, right in front. So if they step in to do a low body rip or they step in to clinch, everything's about to come out at them. So it just makes it that little bit more threatening for them to come in on. Okay, so now you're going to hold this high position, arms are out, and I want you to think, punch, drop your body, drop your body, drop your body, boom, drop your body. So go back to the striking we did before and really drop your body weight. Okay, let's do it. Closed guard, elbows together nearly. That's it, guys, closed guard, elbows together. Keep coming back to that tight guard. Thumbs on your eyebrow. Beautiful. Arms at the same distance away, not one forward, one back. Shoulders are completely square. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful, okay, and stop. In boxing, we use this a bit in different schools, but we use this a bit when we duck. It can be a good way to stop us from doing this. So often when you have someone covered up, like a peekaboo style, and they duck, it exposes all of this area to get hit. If they push their elbows forward, then they're much more covered. So they're not going to get hit in this area as much as they roll. So when we say keep your eyes forward, if you put your eyes forward but your arms are here, it's all still exposed. If you put your elbows forward as well as your arms forward, it's much harder to get around. So what I'd like you to do, even though we don't duck much in Thai, it's still a good drill. I want you to just think about your punches and then duck with your elbows right out forward and just have a feel of that. You are exposing your ribs, no doubt about it, but you're not exposing your face. Okay, let's do it a few times. Duck and roll. Beautiful. Okay, back to heavy punches and kicks now. So I want you to do 2 or 3 kicks and then, 2 or 3 punches, then a thigh kick. 2 or 3 punches, then a thigh kick. Beautiful, Stan, beautiful. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Good, Gabby, that is brilliant. Elbows high, Gabby. Good, start with the elbows high. 10 seconds, guys. Very nice, Matt and Q, beautiful. Jackie, awesome. Good, Elston. Nice, James. Keep those elbows forward, James. Yeah, that's it, that's it, that's it. And stop. Good. There is no major issue with doing this and having your elbows against your body. This is just a different guard for you to think about. The other good bit about this is if I drive in and I get used to this position, my forearms are the things that are going to come into contact first to allow my clinch. So in this, if I'm a fighter that has a closed guard, I'm never reaching for that clinch. I'm pushing my body into their body until the clinch happens. Yep, so very different. Long guard, I'm working for that clinch. I'm going to reach, I'm going to throw things to try and use that clinch from a reaching type action. Catching in, trapping their hands, going for stuff. In this guard here, it's all about loading up with my body so everything becomes rotations. Boom. And when I go for that clinch, it's because my forearms touch and then I can go into the clinch. So it's much tighter type positioning. So what I want you to think of now is very tight and short punches. Nothing long, nice and short. And come in for a clinch, do a couple of knees, then go back to your guard again. Okay, let's try that. Elbows forward, short punches, power from the legs. Remember how we rotated both legs before? Oh, beautiful. Some of you are really getting those legs around. Make sure you twist. Got to rotate on your legs and push from your thighs. Remember, we punch with the legs, punch with the legs, punch with the legs. That's it, that's it, that's it. Couple more. Beautiful. Stop. Great. Okay, so this fight style tends to be better for someone who's a little bit shorter, average height to shorter, and stocky and stronger. It's the person that doesn't mind getting hit a couple of times to land some big bombs and try and wear the other person down. So that's where this fight style is more useful. Yep. So in boxing world, someone from the Western world that we know, Tyson, you would say is this sort of fighter, shorter than the average heavyweight. He had to get inside them. He had to push through and try not to get hit. And then he would use his legs to generate massive amounts of power. Raymond Decker, exactly the same if you go back and watch his footage in Muay Thai. And like I said, someone like Buakaw, even though he's a little bit taller, it's that same strong, pushing guard action. So the next guard we're going to do is actually probably a little bit more like Buakaw, and it's a variation of the close guard. This one is the flared guard. So my thumbs are still back towards my head. My elbows are away from the body slightly now. Before we get into it though, please just have a sip of water and then we'll get started.
What style are you? What sort of style are you?
Hey, hell, I talk a lot, but I feel like I'm talking 1,000 miles an hour here.
Oh, yeah.
Staring at the Zoomer.
Yeah, sometimes. But my cows.
Yeah.
This is not. This is like,
Just distance, kicking range,
yeah.
and then when you're close, you change it up,
Yeah.
tighter.
Okay. So an important thing for those people that are becoming fighters and those people that are trainers is that we need to work to our fighters' body, their skill, their determination. What sort of fighter are they? Have they got super fast reflexes? Are they long range? Are they going to need to be shorter and more nuggety? And we need to give them the skills that they can get the optimum out of their body and their personality type or their fight style. And over time, they'll develop their own style, but we need to be ready to give that stuff. If we're a gym that only does long range, and that's all we ever teach, long range, and most of our fighters are, on the shorter side, we're going to get loss after loss after loss. We're going to get a few freaks come through that are going to be good, but we're not going to be getting everyone's needs. So for you guys that are starting your martial arts journey, you need to think, how are you when you spar? Are you someone that likes to stay on the outside? Are you someone that just likes to get in and push and bury yourself in? And work to those strengths. Still work on your weaknesses, obviously, but you work to those strengths, yeah? So you develop the style to it. Okay, we're going to move on. The flared guard. This is inviting someone to have a go. So the guy that fights or the lady that fights with this style loves to catch, loves to parry, loves to step in and trip, loves to take advantage of timing. So the weight on this one will generally be, so this one weight was even. This one will generally be weight back slightly, so still a longer stance, but weight slightly back. So I'm ready to go out, or I'm ready to spring off that leg. So I get my timing, they throw something, boom, I can spring in and take my sweep or take my technique. So weight is usually either back or forward. It's not usually in the middle. So let's think weight back first. Stomach back. Ribs exposed a little bit because we want them to have a go. And I want you to start off with just doing some parries and then coming back, getting back in your action. Good. Flare your arms. Give them that target. Excellent. Okay, this time you're going to do a couple of catches. So I want to imagine the person's throwing in a kick. I can either catch and grab, catch and rotate out, off to the other side. So catch some round kicks now. Think about some of your trips. Those guys of you that have done tripping, put some of your trips in. Good. Think about your guard. Flared arms. Arms back. Very good. Catch some push kicks. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, and stop. So if you're a flared guard fighter and I've got my weight back, I need to get very used to, and this would normally be the first couple of rounds, I'm feeling out the fight, I need to get very used to springing straight into a long stance. So I power up from my legs again, or I spring back. So sometimes it'll be both feet will move slightly. So the person could be close to me, I've got this flared arm, they've stepped in, but I pop both legs, but, and then that gives me my power to drive my body off. If I get caught in this position and my weight's back, there's no power to do anything. So I've either got to step back by springing, step forward by springing, or I drop by springing both feet slightly, and that helps me get my power. So I want you to try and alternate between those things now. Weights back, put your foot back. Weights back, put your foot forward. Weight back, arms are up, and drop your weight. Okay, let's keep that going a little bit longer. Awesome. Okay, now you've got to throw your strikes from any of those. So my weight's back here. I'm going to spring myself back. Throw some strikes or throw a kick, whatever you like. Same when I go forward. Throw your stuff. Same when you go into the middle. Okay, let's keep it going. Elbows slightly flared. Hands are back. Nothing's tight. Stay relaxed. Stay relaxed. Everything's relaxed. Nice bounce. Good, nice smooth action. Good, feel where your weight is. Feel how you're going to generate power. Don't throw one punch, guys. Always throw 2 or 3 punches, follow with a kick or follow with a knee. So this is what we tend to call Dutch style. So it's generally 2 or 3 hard punches followed by a leg kick or a knee, and then you keep pushing them in again. So while you're moving around, keep thinking of that. 2 or 3 punches, heavy kick or a heavy knee. Keep working, keep working. Very good, very good. And stop. Beautiful, have a rest for a sec. Fantastic, have a quick sip of water if you need one. So just while you're having your drink of water, probably the most important thing when working that sort of position is that ability to go from weight forward or weight back to a deep stance. So you'll see someone that fights with this flared style later in the rounds, when they want to be more aggressive, will extend their stance out. When they're being a bit defensive, but they're still that sort of fighter, their stance will be shorter. You can often see when someone's about to turn it on, you know, so I'll be watching the fight and they'll have been quite passive and playing with it, and then you'll see them just drop a little bit and you'll go, okay, they're wanting to push now, you know, we know they're going to drive up. So you can tell often by where the person's body weight is, how they're moving to what's sort of happening. Or you'll see them doing this. It'll look like they're passive, and then you'll see them drop back every time, but into a really powerful position, not back into like a high position. And you know they're looking for a shot now. You know, they're ready to start really laying back into the person. So if you're training that sort of stuff, you need to get training so that these actions are quick. That idea from going from a high passive position to a low striking position is in your makeup for your training.
So Matt, on that, what you're saying then about them loading up. So different body types, like they're really small and quick, you wouldn't see them load up that, you know, you probably wouldn't see them. But a bigger guy, the heavyweights, you would see them forming that position. Is that?
Yeah, even some of the lighter weights. So you'll see a 70-kilo guy, if he had his weight mainly back, as he transitions, you'll see that weight drop through that hip as they go to throw, or as they step back, that they're bracing. So it won't be like a ready to drop, but it'll be some sort of action where you know that they've got their body ready to fire, you know?
It's a bit of telegraphing there then.
Yeah, but you try and make it as fast as you can. But if you watch fight, you know, go back and watch even a Rod Tang fought on the K1, not the K1, the FC, 1FC recently. And if you're watching it, you'll see him go from this short stance, round 3, 4, he starts going slightly longer, you'll see it explode. Like, you've got to look for it, because all you normally see is the hands flying or the leg flying or whatever. But if you're watching their feet, you'll see the hand and the leg fly together. So they'll be here, you know, so it's like it's as fast as a pulse, and it happens together, but you'll see it. But if you're not training it, and you're always training this and just do this sort of thing, it'll never happen, you know? So,
I think Mike Zambides was a great example for this.
Yeah. And that's the sort of stature of a fighter we're talking about, small and nuggety would generally be this sort of, you know, shorter and nuggety would be this sort of fighter. Very good. All right. So with all of these, there is not, you will never see one person just do one thing. Every fighter should have times where they're out and they're playing with the person, times when they're on the back foot, times when they're on the front foot, times when they're in the middle and they're passive, times where you can see them bracing, gritty, times when they're covering themselves up. It's all got to be part of the game, but you'll generally find that there is something that is your thing that you're going to make work, the thing that you're going to make the difference between you and the other people that you're fighting. So what I'd like you to do now is think of the 4 that we've done. That's not all the guards there are, that's just 4 we worked on tonight. I want you to think of long guard, Dracula guard, closed guard, flared guard, and I want you just to work out where you feel most comfortable. Do you like when your weight's back and you transition for strikes? Do you like when your weight's already down and you're in this sort of position and you're throwing low, big bombs? Or from here, a really good position is this kick coming up, boom, like a karate kick rather than a tie kick, very, very powerful. Same off the lead leg, if I drop back, even if I'm down low and I drop that, I can kick that up very easily. So that low stance doesn't mean you can't kick. Yeah, it just, you've got to have your body in a good position. All right, I'm going to get you to go for 2 minutes and just sample. No pressure, don't go fast, just whatever feels most natural to you. Okay, let's have a go.
Watch me.
Yeah.
You want to watch me?
Good, just find what's natural for you. Nice. You want to feel like you're strong. You want to feel like you've got power or speed. So what are you working on? Are you trying to get speed in your shots, or are you trying to get power in your shot? Are you trying to not telegraph anything, or you don't care because you're going to load up to power up? That's awesome. All right. Stop there, guys. So I'm just going to finish off with a quote that I saw today, and then we're going to open it up so everyone can have a bit of a chat. A quote I saw today from a fighter that I was trained that lives in WA now, Josh Day, and he flogged it off someone else, was don't practice until you get it. So don't practice until you get it right. Practice until you don't get it wrong. So it's not a matter of just doing something until I go, oh, that felt right, now I've got it. You've got to keep practicing and keep practicing until the chance of you doing it wrong, that's the unusual thing. Yeah, so I thought it was a really good quote on the idea of getting behind your practice. All right, guys, if you want to unmute yourself, ask me any questions or anything like that. Thank you very much for taking part. I really appreciated it.
Hi, Matt. Can I just ask a question?
Yep.
Before you sort of explained a bit about like relaxing the shoulders and getting into that posture, as Kyoshi Matt will tell you, that's my biggest thing is I get like up here and I have his voice in my head all the time saying, relax your shoulders, like I can just hear it. So can you just run through that again about how setting yourself up so that how you stay relaxed in that, like, yeah.
Yeah, so one of the ways we try and practice it, so you can sort of see, is that we bring our hands above our head and then we just drop our elbows in front. So you didn't use your elbows to put your shoulders to put you in that position, you'll just let them drop.
Oh, that's cool.
Does that make sense, Doc?
Yes.
Cool.
And then just sort of thinking about staying.
Yeah, the shape of your chest will affect it. If I've got my chest back and I drop them, there's nothing to really stop them until they go too low. If my chest is up a little bit, my back's bent, then they'll hold up higher. So it depends on the shape of my thoracic area a little bit. How I shape it, not like the shape you're born with, the shape you force your body into is what you're going for.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Just wave if you want to get a question or anything like that, guys.
We'll just unmute and yell at me.
Oh, Matt, I was just asking you about what sort of type of his fighting posture is. You want to say what type you rely on more so? Just let everyone know what you like you were using.
Oh, for my style, yeah. Same the Matt Ball tell. Hand, thumb about on the
Yep.
what?
On your eyebrows, yeah.
Eyebrow, yeah, about like it, yeah. If you
Flared gun.
It's,
Yeah,
yeah,
so you can see he's got a flared arm,
It-
and you can see how much his stomach's back when Q stands. Q, can you turn sideways?
Turn sideways so they can see that.
yeah,
So you
Yeah.
see how it keeps his stomach away and his forearms are forward? Yeah,
yeah,
it's a beautiful flared style.
yeah,
And Q's a push-up fighter, you know?
yeah. This is about ladies, it's about what? Western style.
Western
yeah,
style, yeah.
Western style.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. Ready.
Yep.
Leg kick. Yeah.
And,
You love
and
it.
this style, you need to have good timing. If you're not someone that can read the fight and get that distance right, this isn't a good style because you're going to get hit a lot. This is a really good style for someone that's got good timing and good reaction speed. They're going to be able to take advantage of getting in.
Yep, he definitely has, and he has good catching as well.
Yeah.
Q's renowned from his elbows from that position too. He gets in there
Yeah.
with those and he winds them up. So awesome
Yeah.
elbow techniques.
So if you love catching and dumping, and you love the elbow striking, and you got the good reaction speed, that is the stance, and that is the guard that most favours that for sure. And that's why Q is really good at it. Won championships.
So when you're
Anyone else?
close range, when you're in clenching, what sort of?
I haven't got a question, but this is my first seminar that I've done, and it was amazing. So thank you very much, Matt.
All right, Danielle, thank you.
Matt
Yes.
Wickham for organising it, and Matt Ball for doing it. Thank you.
No worries.
Go.
It's I've got to tell you, it's hard talking to screens when there's no feedback. Usually, if you're taking seminar, you can walk around and fix people and have a chat and get their reaction. It's harder on the TV.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea just to pop up and even say what you liked out of it that you can adopt to your own training already. So from today, just pop in and just say something about that you're going to work on for sure. So just to give Matt some feedback for his time he spent with us today. So that'll be cool if you could just let him know that you appreciate it or you've learned something from today. So jump on quickly.
Can I just say thank you? I've got to go because the kids are falling apart. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to trying out some of these guards. So thank you, Matt, and thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Admin.
Bye.
I got something to say. I just wanted to thank Matt Wickham for hosting this, Matt Ball for the instruction. But I think this is a really good example of the wider BJMA community coming together. So it's just good to see lots of familiar, but also at the same time, new faces for myself, having been around for a little bit. So thank you very much to both of you.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, thanks, mate, for joining on too and spreading the word too. Thank you.
I'd just like to say that it was really good to get that reminder that your punches come from your feet and your kicks come from your hands. That was, yeah, it's just a good refresher.
Yeah, it's one of the chief sayings that's always stuck really strong in my head. You know, punch with your hands and kick. Kick with your hands and punch with your legs. And when you first hear it, you go, "What are you talking about?" But then once you do it, you've got it locked. You know. James, you going to say something?
Yeah, so I found it helpful learning a little bit more about the different stances and what they favour, the pros and cons of each. So if you were in, say, a round robin competition where you're fighting a few different people in the same day, and say if you were taller than someone or you were a lot shorter than someone, adapting that into the circumstances.
Yeah, good, James. Nice.
Thank you.
I just want to say, Matt, that was really good instruction. It was easy to follow and very diverse. You covered a lot of the strategies for fighters, which really opens up my eyes to different techniques. So that was really good.
Thanks, mate. Much appreciated. I know you've watched hundreds of thousands of fights.
Oh yeah.
So it's always nice to when you do something again, then when you go back and look at other fights, you look for different things in it again.
I will be now.
I just want to going through the different guards. I like to have more of a long guard, so I don't practice a short guard very often. But you know, it's great just to see. Yeah, the closer you are, the more power you can you can generate, and then having the Dracula guard as well to kind of absorb a bit of punishment, I guess, is kind of nice just to see. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, no worries. You know, you'll see a boxer, when they feel punishment, they're normally against the rope, their bum's almost on the rope, and they'll get a roll up, and that's when you're going to try and develop some sort of movement to step off or some sort of movement to strike. But if you see them with lock, you know they're in trouble because there's nothing that they can fire from. And it's the same if I go into any sort of guard and I just hold, there's no power generation. You know, everything you do must have some sort of action or absorption or rotation, or, you know, it doesn't have to be big. It can be a matter of just small movements, but it allows the muscles to start to trigger that you can then follow with something. But if ever you just fully lock and freeze, it's so hard to generate that first momentum, you know? So always remember to get some movement in your body no matter what position you go to.
I'd just like to say thanks, Matt. Kim here. I'm just happy I didn't die. This is so far fitter than me. It's incredible. But yeah, I swear to
You
God.
could just come and watch me through the window. Kim.
I know.
Kim lives across the street from me.
Lucky there's no ambulance. It's good.
Thanks for joining in, Kim. Really,
Yeah.
really good to see you on.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks again for joining on.
All right, if there's nothing else.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Just before we go,
Thanks,
everybody.
Chief, for being on. See you later, Chief.
See you later, guys.
Just before you all go, everybody, Chloe's behind the screen now. She's just going to take a photo. So, if she wants everybody just to come up closer and smile to the screen a little bit, or keep your hands up, or put your hands up in a fighting stance, and she's going to just take a bit of a photo for us and share it. So, thanks very much. Oh, that was awesome. Just before we all take off, everybody, thank you, Matt, for jumping on tonight and doing that. That was sensational. Like, this is great. I picked up a couple of things, so in my notebook, ready to go for next time I do some training for myself personally. And I think that it's important for us to continue on learning all the time. You know, no matter how experienced you are, there's always something to learn, and always go in with a white belt approach. You know, you're in there to learn. Even if you think you know everything, you should go in with that white belt approach and want to learn something. So thanks, mate. I really loved it. It was awesome. Yeah. And thanks very much for taking part.
Thank you, guys. That was great.
Thanks very much. Thanks for joining in as well. So, Matt, do you want to bow us all out?
All right. Ready?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'll leave it on for a second, just so if you want to have a quick chat with someone, but it's pretty hard when you got so many people on there. But if you got any questions for Q as well.